Well, you, Christmas. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock on September 16, 2024, at the town hall. We need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. So, do we have a second? Second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. We have 2 minutes to approve today. The first one will be the regular meeting on August 19, 2024. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes that were presented?
I didn't have any.
No. If there are none, somebody make a motion to approve the minutes of August 19, 2024. So, second. There's no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the last set is, the other set of minutes is the special meeting on September 9, 2024. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
No.
Okay, somebody make a motion to accept them?
Second.
Okay. If there's no discussion, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay, Green Mountain Power,
Good evening,
you're here.
Dan Austin here, I'm contractor for Green Mountain Power, former employee, and retired. Talking about the rebuild of the 3-phase from the Cambridgeport Bridge, Grafton Bridge number 16, up to the signboard of the bridge job on Fisher Hill, next to house number 1296. That is forthcoming for calendar 25. And this is a continuation of the projects that we've been working on TMP, along Route 121 in back Westminster Road, and it's to build a more robust distribution feed in the beginning of the year. And we're at a point where we've got our project permits in place, and it's time to bring forward this information to the town. I have Rick drove out the job with Kobe, the road foreman. He has a copy of the plans. So we put together our petition for the town to continue with this project. This is kind of our last step in permitting. And once this is secured, we can take the information, order materials, and once we get a timeline on the materials that are coming in, Dave Ward, he's would put it out to bid. And by the way, this is Dave Ward. He's a district superintendent for Springfield and Westminster. How does that sound? Sound out?
That's 100%.
Okay. So are there any questions?
So you're looking for us to, do we have this agreement to sign tonight? Is that what the purpose here is to do?
Yes.
Okay, so this is, we've signed a couple of these already, I think. I think we did one for
We did.
Bucket Hill Road, I think we did one for Stagecoach, right? Yeah. Okay,
And Stagecoach is complete.
is it all done?
So these are all his plans. Yes.
Does anybody have any questions? Any concerns?
Do you have any complaints with the permitting you had to do? Concern?
Would you speak up, please?
Did you have any complaints or concerns from any of the the homeowners getting your permits?
No, we worked out some details. Specifically about tree removals, pole locations as far as view obstructions, but those are all put to rest.
Well, we lost power on the Savell Road again.
Okay.
That was actually when we were transitioning to the stagecoach.
I thought that,
Yeah, so now you're fed from the new stage.
that's what gets a lot of people frustrated up that area is to lose power after the line crew has been through and cut all the trees here, and then the power goes off. This year, the power's been off more than it ever has. After the trees are trimmed. And for what reason, I don't know, but
Yeah,
in that area is where it is.
you should. The idea behind stagecoach was to try and get you onto the more reliable feed. Still out of Chester, it's a much more reliable fee, so when you saw the outage, was it last week? That's when we were cutting it over. So hopefully, it slows down a little bit, we're able to determine this that taking place. And then the new fee for stagecoach.
There are times that after the tree crew has gone through and removed the trees next to the lines, that trees that are adjacent to the corridor that was cut are not acclimated to be freestanding, and they're more subject to wind. And we do see a percentage of lines that have been recently trimmed or cleared, or you're gonna have some residual outages for a period of time afterwards.
Any other questions or concerns? If not, I guess we need a motion to accept the plan for 121. So,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you.
Very good.
You want this tonight, I guess, or?
No, let's make sure Kim.
Okay, I think she's got to notarize it, I think, yeah, she does, yeah. Yeah.
So all the wood that you did cut, and brush, that's been removed by you or by Colby?
Well. Parker Road, Colby is gonna work with us on that. For tree removal, there's not very much, there's not a lot of tree work. On Parker Road, but for the, this job, this big job, I don't know if Colby really wants to tackle.
I wouldn't expect.
That
him to.
because, you know, he's got a limited crew, you know, it's really not fair to ask Colby. to Take on that, so it will be removed by the.
Okay,
Very good,
thank you for coming.
thanks.
When are you gonna start this anyway?
That would be, a question for Tim to answer, we need to go through the financing day approval.
Okay, so something's not gonna happen tomorrow.
From up, no.
Okay.
Maybe sometime.
Okay. Okay, Sevens, I think, are you here? Okay,
There,
tell us about yourself.
sure. So, thank you for having me, first of all. So, SEVIDS is Southeastern Vermont Economic Development Strategies. And I actually work for BDCC. SEVIDS is a nonprofit organization that's affiliated with BDCC, Bradford Development Corporation, that allows us to really develop regional economic development strategies. And so when we say economic development, we're not just talking about businesses, we're talking about workforce development, we're talking about community development, helping our communities develop capacity to do the work they need to do. So that's the piece of what we do. SEVIDS is really there to develop that strategy and those regional approaches, but it has no staff. So BDCC is tasked people like myself in our day-to-day jobs to go out and listen to towns, hear from towns, see what questions they have, and to develop the programming that we put on the ground. So SEVIDS develops the strategy for regional economic development. BDCC puts the people on the ground to get that done. And so just a few things that we're working on. I did bring these, I don't know if you'd like, I can send these around. This is our annual report from last year. This year's is at the printer as we speak. So I can hand those to Morgan to hand around. But a lot of what, sorry, I'm standing in front of the projector. Some of the work we do, I did see you have this posted downstairs. This is an example of our work, that we have a comprehensive economic development strategy, which is a 5-year plan that helps to guide the directions of deciding what we need to do to keep our region vibrant and vital for the next 5 years. So we're working on updating that plan right now. And that's work that we know, like a single town like Grafton, even our bigger towns like Brattleboro and Bennington can't do on their own. So our organization goes out and we listen to all the towns in our region. We have regional events that help us hear from people, and we help develop strategies that we think will help us all work together well and keep our region vibrant. So That's a lot. To bring that down to the ground, we mostly work in 3 areas. Of course, business development, business support for businesses of all sizes. From our largest employers to helping entrepreneurs who are starting, small business owners. So we do business work. We do workforce development. So that means working in the schools. So all the local public high schools, we work in Leland and Gray a lot. We work in Bellows Falls a lot. Also a little bit in the Career Center. In the Twin Valley, so around the region, helping those students develop career pathways so that they know what they're gonna do when they graduate with a plan. And we hope for a lot of them that will be making them come back here. We also do this community development support, so my program does things like we had a grant writing workshop last month, for example, to help people learn how to go after and get funding for community projects, town projects, things like that. So we just help to build the capacity for community development as well as workforce development and business development. So it's a lot. We have quite a lot of staff. Sevens helps us keep it together, keep it moving in a coherent direction, keep all the pieces together. And we do go around to all our towns. We ask for funding at the rate of $3 a person in Grafton. That is, hold on for your number, is $1,935. Towns do that in different ways. So some towns build that as a line item in their town budget. Some towns have us as a separate warning on a town meeting warning, a separate article on town meeting warning. Some towns will put that in a social services article at town meeting. So we just go around and kind of all that support. Last year, we were in, I think, 21 towns, which represent, 22 towns. And the population of those towns is 86% of the Wyndham region population. And that helped us raise $116,000, which we put to use supporting all that programming that BDCC does. It helps us, kind of augment when we get federal grants that we have to match. That money has to come from somewhere. One of the ways we do that is through that town funding. So that's my song and dance. And again, if people want, I saw this downstairs, I can leave another one of these upstairs. We have 2 weeks from tonight, we have a virtual meeting. We'll also have a meeting. Bellows Falls is probably the closest one to you. And that will be Thursday, the 26th. If you want to come hear about a regional economic development plan, people are welcome. We love to see people and hear from you and see how we're doing. We've got it right. And that's that. So any questions you have about helping, Grafton develop capacity, I'm happy to answer. If I can't, I'll take it back to the office.
Last year, we elected to put it as an article. I can't speak for the board. And in October, we're going to start our budgetary process, so it'll be up to the board whether they want to include it in the budget or they want to have another as a separate article. That'll be something. Does anybody have any questions or concerns or?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So how have we been supporting this program for a while, or was last year?
So actually last year, I don't believe it was in the warning last year, it was the previous year. And it was it in last year?
Yes, we chose not to vote on it.
Okay, it was passed over, right?
Yeah, it was in the warning.
It was in the warning,
But we passed over it.
Yeah.
right, so it was passed over, so, again. However, we like when people, however you want to do it, oftentimes, having it as an article in town meeting, you try and send someone to town meeting to be there in case there's a question about it, get to as many town meetings as we can, so, we welcome you to do that in whatever way makes sense, and we're happy to have, that be on the town meeting warning so that voters get a chance to hear, and we'll send, I do write individual town reports, haven't gotten to them yet, but I usually do those in December. Sit down on some snowy day and go through and look at all the work we've done and customize them for each town to say, who have we touched in your town, and as much, as we can. So we'll, again, as usual, compare that, and we welcome that support or any questions that you have. You can always email ask questions as well.
Does anybody have any questions, comments? Go ahead. Becca.
In the past year, 2024, have there been businesses and small businesses working in Grafton that have benefited from the program?
So I wouldn't know that off the top of my head. I could definitely find out, easily enough by doing research. I'm talking to business people, so I work with the community development team, so I usually.
So
know
did you
more.
say that 80% of the towns represented receives benefit?
So 86% of the towns, of the populations, that's 22 towns out of the 27 that we serve voted to support us with town funding. So those 22 towns represent 86% of the population. To crunch the numbers. Some of those towns, some of those, for example, Halifax doesn't even have businesses. So it's not all the business support in Halifax, maybe we help with a community project or someone comes to a training that we have, or someone, the students in the school receive our services. So we touch people in a lot of ways, whether or not it's just the business development. We touch people in a lot of different ways. So we're always here to help with questions. In some towns, we provide, grant management support for federal grants. Don't think we're not doing that for Grafton, but if that's something that, you needed or available, on, for service, fee for service, or things like that. We're helping Vernon right now.
We work with school systems for grants.
We don't know, because that funding is separate, so, but, we can always provide consultation, but usually in general, the school districts handle that. Internally and through the supervisory unions, so we don't touch, the school, district grants as much, however, we're always available. For questions, we help more the municipalities and nonprofit organizations.
But in the schools, you are doing programs for.
For students directly, yes, we have pipelines and pathways programs, so our staffer Christy Beatty is in the schools, actually. We don't see her a lot this time of year, she's in the schools, teaching, leading programs, working with the schools to develop programs, and she does a lot of England and Gray, and a lot of Bellows Falls in high school, we have a really good partnership.
She worked with Helen Chase at the high school.
I imagine so.
They have a great program.
Yeah, she does, I show up there twice a year, I get to just walk in for fun things, so, but Christy's there almost every day, so we do like a reality fair. We do like, Futures Fair, where kids get a chance to meet a lot of different types of employers, and look at different pathways, so, and that's just sort of the like fun outward facing part, but Christy's in schools every day.
Yeah, they have work experience too in some of the businesses, which leads them to our trade oriented school.
I mean, we hope for that, and we work with a lot of the employers, actually work with that program to provide, tours. They just did a summer boot camp, actually, that was based out of Brattleboro, but they were employers. They help try to hook kids in with real possibilities. That's our hope. I mean, it's hard to gauge that absolute return on that immediately, but it's just a long, slow process that we will never stop. So,
Thank you for working with students in the high schools,
it's important.
because it makes a big impact.
Yeah, no, it's really important. And we really appreciate the schools that work with all of us. So I know it's always like my favorite day of the year is the day we get to go to high schools.
Any other questions, comments?
You talked about business development, business support. Do you include small farms as businesses? You work with small farmers?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, like right now we've been, just one example is, in close to Guilford and Vernon are forming a business and group to work together, and a lot of the people in that group are actually farms. And so we do, and we also, work kind of at the systems level. We're always interested in helping people figure out how to partner and to build businesses. So for example, we worked a lot with Food Connects to help them get grants as a regional food hub so that they can provide a market for some of those products. That's just one example, like very indirect, but sort of looking at that, saying, how do our farms do they have a market, and are we helping them? And one of the things we're trying to do is connect businesses with each other, so that farm businesses, like a person from Guilford and a person from Grafton, can connect and talk, or you might not run into each other, you know, on the main street, but we're really trying to connect businesses with people that are peers in the same business. So that's something our new assistant director is really working on, is making that network that exists.
Anything else? If not, thank you for coming.
Absolutely. I always like to come in at this time of year. You know, so it really is. I try not to come in, you know, December, so. Visits and do you want another copy of that? Okay, and then also for the select board, we have our annual meeting coming up. You want the next to join us? Welcome. So, thank you, and we'll talk, I'll check back in again as you get closer to your project process, if there's anything that we need to do to help.
Yeah, we'll start our budget process, we'll note that we'll set some dates tonight, but usually we start at the end of October.
Okay, well, I'll keep eye on the minutes, and
Yeah.
when I see those popping up, I'll make sure to
Okay.
just stay on top of it.
All right, thank you for coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next item is cell phones. Last time we addressed this, that we thought maybe that the group improvement association would help, but they said no. So the question is, do we want to go ahead and get cell phones for that? employees?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Should be a town expense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, somebody will make a motion to, so
Are we making a motion to
we'll make a motion that we can discuss it.
discuss?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so,
Second,
okay, all right, so now discussion,
We really had a discussion on this way
we
back.
will now.
that's fine.
Go ahead, Anna, we
We
have,
have a motion to discuss it.
no, we have a motion on the floor, so now we can discuss it.
A motion. Motion.
What's the motion?
So I made a motion to get cell phones for the,
Okay, town employees.
and I believe in a second,
Yes.
doesn't necessarily, we didn't vote on. it. We had, we were having discussion. So comments,
I guess I wanna know what the fees are gonna be and how many phones we're looking at.
I think it was 3 phones, I think. There was 3 phones, one for Colby, one for Kim, and one for
Morgan.
who? Oh, that's right, Morgan, yeah.
Yeah. It would be for the phones, the plan, monthly plan is $119. And then obviously times 12, that's $1,439 per year.
That's per year, right?
Correct.
Times 3,
Yep,
No,
that's,
that is
that's
all
all.
the whole thing.
There's no further cost, there's no charges for phones or usage.
The cost for the phones is $30.
No, but there's no usage here at all.
No, it's unlimited.
Okay. And the phones are $30, that's over and above the 1,439?
Correct. So the first year would come to $1,469. Which includes the plan plus the devices themselves.
So $30 for 3 phones.
Yes.
Wow.
I know, I was surprised about that too. They confirmed.
Because of your municipality, we're a municipality.
Are these iPhones?
There are iPhones, yes.
That's true.
How many of those can we get?
You wanna join the crew?
Sure.
Is that a fixed rate? Is that gonna go up to the following year? Is it?
I don't know, this was what we were quoted,
Well, this is a 1-year program, correct?
correct?
I mean, if we don't like it, we can get out of it after a year, I'm assuming. I mean, we're not signing up for a lifetime, are we?
Is this, which phone service? AT&T, I've had AT&T up here for 4 years and we've had the same bill for 4 years, I don't know, I'm assuming it's. I think the
I
same,
assume so
Yeah.
too.
But we don't have a choice, we have to use AT&T, that's the thing that works it.
it's a huge increase.
But I mean, if we approve this, then we have a year to test it. And if it doesn't, if the phones don't work and it doesn't, then we just don't renew the program.
The employees' phones have been working.
Yeah, I think I'm just saying that you have we're not signing up for life, we're signing up for a year.
Did they say what type of iPhone? What?
14, iPhone 14.
They're not gonna give you the latest one, saying that.
No, I have a bad.
For problems, right?
I have a 13, mine works fine, so.
Yeah,
$700 phone.
it is, and I was shocked when we got that number, so I thought maybe they missed a few numbers in the total. So I asked and they confirmed that it's $10 per phone. So 3 phones, $30.
I think it's a good program, actually. Colby, what do you think?
I don't really want my phone, my personal phone to be seen, so yes.
No, but I mean, I mean, to
Oh,
have,
I think it's a no brainer.
But it's for business use, not personal use, right?
Correct.
yeah. And the reason, the other thing was that, if you remember, we had a discussion, I think Kim was the one who brought it up. That if there was ever an issue, then the employee phone would be taken.
Correct.
And there would be, the employee would have the privacy of what was on their phone. And this way, it's used for town business only. And if something happened, it's a phone that's town and that's it. So,
How did we pay for this now? We say, go ahead.
it
They
just,
would provide an invoice and.
But it would come out of some line.
yeah, it would come out of somewhere, item.
Okay. Great.
What happens if something gets damaged? Is that part of some sort of warranty or?
I don't know the answer to that.
You should check if they have insurance, that's extra. For each phone.
I can check on
Loss of damage or covered. Give them phone.
You buy new one for $10.
I guess.
This is.
We're not talking about, everybody wants to sign up, Patrick?
I think you need to have a written policy in place as well that covers the use of the phone. Like, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. That makes it very clear.
We do have a section in the personnel policy that is pretty clear about town equipment for town use. And I would have to reread it to make sure that it would include that. It can always be amended, but there is some language in there about. Town, but
Yeah, and I think that you might have, that when you mentioned the privacy issue, I think that that's really critical. And for someone to make any kind of political comments or troublesome comments on social media with the iPhone. I think that the policy should be in place to address that.
Good point. I think we can amend that on the personnel policy, maybe the personnel committee would,
We have to make some amendments, that could be one.
yeah, that could be one of the amendments, to clarify what the phone is used for and vice versa. Any other discussion? If not, we'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, then I guess you go ahead and get that going, and then Kathy, we might want to, when you're looking at the personnel policy, with some of the amendments we talked about back, look at that section and make an amendment on that.
Yeah, and I know, Morgan, has information also about the phones. That alerted us to do the phones because of the, issue of not using your personal phone.
Right, yeah.
For that information.
All right, Colby, you're on.
Well, we got the fire pond spillway dredge the other day and, put more additional back into it to hold the silt back. We also have got a plan to start, Oliver Shem's, Dropbox on Tuesday, next Tuesday. And pretty much other than that, we're gonna be just doing some grading and, getting ready for leaf blowing now.
I see we have the hydro seeder on here, so what's that?
Yeah, Morgan just asked to do an update. I have not found another one yet.
Okay.
Kind of hard to find one for reasonable price. That would work for us. I'm still looking. But I have not found one. The guy that had the one that we were going to purchase last time didn't like how he had to just like fill out that tax form and then have to do taxes on it. After we purchased it from him, he said he'd rather just do a cash deal. And fortunately, we couldn't do that, and so we sold it.
Well, if you can't find one, the capital budget will be meeting. So maybe that's something we have to consider, put it into the capital budget for next year.
I will continue to look till then.
But keep looking. Okay. Anybody have anything for Colby?
Have you finished the mowing?
Yeah. Haven't done it in a while.
I had a lovely visit to the highway department last week.
We got cut short, we had a tree down.
And they all bolted and it's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you
Yep.
for showing me around and my facility. You guys do a great job maintaining your equipment and I was really impressed. Thank you.
Colby, did you call that lady with the tree up on
I-
Robinson Road?
I ended up leaving, I left early today, because I didn't go to the shop.
Or will you take care of that?
Yes, tomorrow I plan to call.
Okay. And then, so we have something on here, beaver maintenance. Why was that put on there?
Because Skip Lyle sent us another email. There's 2 or 3 areas that, the beaver have gotten into the culverts and they need to be cleaned up. And, he's been doing the one up by the CC camp. I don't know that area. He does it by hand and the beavers still keep getting into it. And it's quite a job. And I thought the last time he met, he offered to give some training to the highway crew on how to clean them. And, he's put hours into this, so I know he has some money budgeted in that line with beavers, so he'd like to get some, I think, pay, but how do you continue to maintain these beaver areas where, things are backing up and it's gonna start doing some damage to the road, so that's what he's bringing up, he brought up.
Well, I thought that Skip was gonna get with Colby and,
He volunteered to do, I was going to clean them out, and he told me no, that he wanted to clean them out, so. He also doesn't have workers' comp, so we can't pay him, yeah, doesn't have workers' comp.
well, if he wanted to clean them out, then so be it.
And well, that's a lot of work,
Also, it's also my job.
We did hire a 4th man,
yeah.
and I don't think we need to hire any more people to take care of that, when 2 of the people on the highway department have gone to the Seaver School. And
It's different.
It's not, it's the same.
It's not the same, John, what they did from the state, what the state gives them is totally different than what Skip is talking
well,
about.
that's your opinion, because there's different ways of doing things, and I don't know if Skip's is a perfect way, there's nobody else's way, but I'm sure the state has spent a lot of money on it too. And or they wouldn't offer
Well,
the
he does it
schools.
so he's not ruining or damaging a culvert.
The training video that we watched is Skip's video, so it is Skip's way that we do it. Skip is just mad that we don't want to pay him to do it.
I
doesn't
think
make
you're
sense.
making an assumption there.
I'm not making an assumption,
Unless
Jack. I'm
he
just
tells
saying.
me that.
I can build these beaver receivers for less than quarter of the price that we were paying when we built it anymore. I've built 2 of them since I've been here, and I've never had an issue with beaver again with them, so. I don't see why I can't, it's my job. I mean, it's the town culvert. we have town employees for review.
I think that at the budget meeting last year, we reduced the budget. And only put in, I know, a third of it, and that was the Kobe to take care of the legal problems that we had. And that's the money that's in there right now.
But he has damaged a couple.
I,
I leave it there. I don't wanna argue, I don't wanna argue. I'd like to be listened to though.
I just don't see why we have to pay somebody else when we have 4 people to do the work. And if Kobe, what you're saying is that the video you saw was produced by Skip, then obviously that's what he does, and that's what you were trained to do. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's important that we do maintain the procedures so that we don't have issues with culverts and flooding and whatever. But,
yeah, no, I can do them more than you, it's not gonna take me any time to take care of it, so,
okay,
And they have to be done by hand, not by machine.
yes, happy to.
well, I'm assuming that the training program that you looked tells you how to clean them out and everything. I'm
Tells you
assuming.
everything, it was like an hour and a half long video. And then we built them, I mean. I watched the video 6 years ago when I started at the state. We built probably 50 of them throughout the state. And so. I mean. It's not rocket science,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, anything else for Kobe? No, okay, okay, the select board received, you got a worksheet. And you got the budget. Up to the date. What, the way we do it, Anna, and for the, is that, we have a series of workshops. Not as select board meetings, but it's a select board meeting, but it's a special meeting. Yeah. It's a workshop, and, we usually do it 3 times. Usually the first one, we complete most of the budget. The second one, we finalize it, and then we have a third one. In case something comes up and right before the warning to put up. And then we ask the fire department, the fast squad, and the library to present their budget as well. And to go there. So what you have to do is, it's very important that you actually look at this thing and actually put numbers in that you think. That you think the budget should be, because it makes the process go much quicker and better. So, Tim would like to start. The first meeting in October. And what days that everybody can make it? We usually do it either at 4 o'clock or 4:30, 6. Well, preferably 4 to 6, only 2 hours, and that's it. The week of the 21st, are there any particular dates that somebody can make or not make?
I can't do Thursday.
Are you talking about October 21st?
The week of that week, so October 21st is a select board meeting, but the week of that week.
22nd is a.
22nd, 23rd, 24th.
22nd is a community forum at the school.
Okay,
Usually on Wednesdays I have SU meetings. You're looking at a Thursday.
I can't do Thursday.
Yeah,
Well, Thursday the
How about the
22nd.
following? So,
I can't do any Thursday.
Oh, okay. So we do the week before that, like the 15th, 16th, 17th.
yeah, we could.
We can do Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
Oh, perfect.
Way either 15th, 16th, or 17th, does that work for everybody?
what dates, Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah,
Maybe it's-
Wednesday or
I can't do the 17th, I can do 15th or 16th.
okay.
sounds good.
let's see.
So,
Yeah,
do we have, We could also do it the week of the 28th as well. That's Halloween week as well.
I'll have to check the 16th, I mean.
15th or 16th,
Like Tuesday.
or Wednesday.
16th of Wednesday.
I
Kim
can't,
doesn't work on Wednesdays.
I have an issue meeting.
Kim doesn't work on Wednesday, so it'd probably be best if we did a Tuesday. If Steve.
Well, how about the 15th?
So let's tentatively do the 15th and then check all of our calendars.
Okay,
If that works, because then we can set for sure at the next select board meeting.
okay, so 10/15 is a tentative. And now we need another meeting in November, say the week of the 4th.
I'm sorry. The week of the 4th,
Yeah,
well, the 5th is the election,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay,
so it's not gonna be that day. Set Thursdays out, it could be Wednesday the 6th. Well,
6 works for me.
you won't, it doesn't work,
6, no,
it's a Thursday,
no, it's a Wednesday. The 7th.
sorry, yeah, it's 7th.
Thursday.
Well, that's election with, so why don't we do it the week of the 11th?
Yeah. It was a holiday.
Yeah, because we're gonna be counting and that kind of stuff, so. Is there any dates there
13th.
No Wednesday.
No Wednesday, because okay, the 12th, November 12th,
12:40.
that 12 weeks for me?
so
You wanna say 10,
that's
you
the.
wanna say 11, 12, and then we can come, everybody can let Morgan know?
And those are both at 4.
4 p.m.
Yeah, 4 to 6. If everybody does their homework. On the second meeting, it probably won't even take an hour.
So the first meeting's at 10:15.
10/15 and 11/12 are the two tentative dates, okay?
No, you said the 15th, what time?
Oh, all
4 to 6.
4 to 6.
Oh, 4 to 6.
All 4 to 6. Okay? Let's go, and if they don't work, we can always find some other dates. Committee reports. Personnel, you don't have anything, I'm assuming. Dave?
No, we have to do some revisions to personnel policy.
Right.
Hmm?
The policies, the,
Revisions on personnel policy.
Well, can you try to get those maybe for the next couple of meetings? Guys can work on that.
My
Time,
schedule,
if time permits.
I need to get to Steve, in Morgan, and some of it, some.
Why don't you guys work it out and see if you can, it doesn't have to be, but try to do the next couple of weeks. Yeah. We can do that, so. Okay, the next item is the wastewater committee. I'll bring everybody up to date where we are, the wastewater system is dead. It's not gonna happen. They took the 3.9 or $4 million away from us. And the time bond is very, whether we have a draft of the 90%, they will we'll schedule some kind of a meeting or something like that, and we'll go over the 90%. And then that'll just stay in the file until such time the town wants to revisit it again, or more money comes, or whatever, but it's finished, there's no way that's gonna happen. However, what they did give us, they threw us a bone.
Yeah.
And they have given us $200,000 with no restrictions as a grant for updating the wastewater, the septic pumping ordinance, and looking at other ways that we can assure the town that the septic systems will fail and they will affect or go into the aquifer. And also to look at the situation that the school has. So my recommendation is, Kathy and I and, Morgan sat in along with Suzanne. And, they are encouraging us to take the $200,000 and try to update the septic system, the pumping system. It's very important because I think, I don't know, I was on the board when these regulations were put in for the pumping ordinance. And I have to tell you that the people on that board, I don't know who they were, everybody should get a gold star, because if we didn't put that septic pumping ordinance in, I'm sure we would have contaminated water by now. I'm sure of it. And I think it behooves the town to take a look at this ordinance and make sure that maybe we have to tweak it a little bit, maybe there's some new things that we have to do so that we don't have a failure. Because once the water gets contaminated, if it does, it's done. There is nothing you can do about it, and the state will come in and they'll force you to have a drinking water system and they'll force you to have a wastewater system. How it's gonna get paid, I have no idea, but we don't wanna do that. We wanna make sure that we keep whatever we have functioning. So that's my thing. That's it. I'll open it up for comments.
Just out of curiosity, the 3.9 million was retracted,
Yeah, they took away from us.
why was that?
I have no idea.
Because we
We-
could not meet the guidelines, we had no.
No, well, that's not really true. We wrote a letter, I wrote a letter as chairman of the board to the feds, to the state, to the our representatives. Nobody had the decency or the courtesy to answer that letter. So we never got an answer from those letters that went out, and they were not registered.
Wasn't it the fact that it didn't tell everybody that money had to be spent by a certain date and then the state changed the date?
Right, but they changed this without any knowledge.
Right, then we couldn't meet that date.
We can't.
So my question is, so if we have feedback or the committee is still meeting, the wastewater committee is still meeting, are they going to be coming up with suggestions for how to spend this money? How's that?
What, the $200,000?
Yeah.
It's to look at the wastewater company,
Is the
that's what it
committee-
is.
committee's doing that stuff?
No, the board's gonna do
So
that.
they're out of it now.
Yeah, basically, the committee is finished.
Okay.
Patrick?
How do you imagine spending $200,000 on deciding a different schedule for pumping?
Well,
Would you hire?
there's a couple of ways.
Hire-
There's a couple of ways. We don't have to spend the $200,000. We spend $300,000 or $5,000 from it. That's fine, we give the rest back. But, we have to hire some kind of a consultant who needs to look at the system, and that's not gonna be cheap. I figure that's thousands of dollars. And then, there's some new technology now where they can go in to your septic system with a camera. And they can tell you what the condition of your tank is, they can tell you what the condition of your deep box is, and what the condition of your leach field is. And if we could do that for every house in the village, then we would know if there's any septic systems that are near failure or are in the process of failure. And correct them before they actually do fail. And then that would be no cost to the homeowner. So I think we can, I mean, I'm not sure we can do that, but the engineers say that that's a possibility, so I think we need to do the research on that. So if we did, and I don't know how much they charge $500 to do a septic system or $1,000, I have no idea. But you have 20, or what, 40 properties, 60 properties, whatever it is, you would do it, so. I don't think there's any problem, and you don't have to spend the $200,000. I mean, if you only spend $100,000, that's fine, and you have your answer. And at the same time, we can kind of take a look at the situation in the school. With the contamination they have in Bowman's well, and maybe we can do something with that money. So that's,
They already have filter systems, I don't know about Charlie's, but, one of the saving graces for the village is when the committee way back with Suzanne and myself and a few other folks. And my brother, did the water testing, and that's where they found, the state had come in. And a fluke, they chose the school, the Grafton School, to test the water and found the PFAS, the PFOs. And that created, to look at the village, doing the folks that wanted their water tested. And the testing was quarterly. And this has been, I think, for the past at least 4 years. So that is a saving grace for the village, to really watch the water and where the PFOs are. So that's, that was a good thing. To save any contamination into your water, into your septic and vice versa.
Have we contacted any, like, Best Septic, for example, when we moved in, they inspected our septic. And I honestly have no idea how they did it, and whether they got as fancy as all the camera work and stuff like that, but they gave us a full-on report, et cetera, et cetera. Can't remember what it cost us, something like 1,050, I don't know if it was worth it to us. So have we reached out to any of
No, we
those?
haven't done anything.
But that would be something we would
Yes.
do. Yeah,
If
yeah.
we approved the $200,000 tonight, then
Yeah.
then Morgan and.
You start multiplying that by a number of.
And I and
projects.
Cassie will start this process.
Yeah,
Everything has to be, we have to write a very clear scope of work,
Right,
and it has to be approved before we do anything,
right.
so we have to hop on this.
But well, we have to we have to approve it tonight because we have a deadline. If we don't approve it by, well, I think it's what?
29th,
Yeah,
September 30th.
yeah. Then the money goes away. And there's no cost to the town.
Right, I think it would be crazy for the money to go away.
But you have
That's
to
pretty
2026. Of the fall, 2026 to use and do it.
Great,
But we have to sign this thing soon.
got
Anybody have any other questions or whatever?
But it's saying that you have to hire a consultant, is that part of the
Yeah.
string? They're
Well-
telling you you have to.
What we'll do is Morgan, Kathy and I will sit down and we have to write the scope of work. And then we have to, send it in and they have to approve that.
so I contacted the regional commission to assist us with this. So we are going to write up a few quick sentences about ultimately what the committee would like to do. And then Woodland Regional will help us with the request for proposals. Then we would reach out to a bunch of companies to help us.
Yeah, and I did talk to Erin from Time Bond and she volunteered to give us a name of some consultants that we could.
I would say anybody they recommend that one. I'm sorry, they've been such a disappointment. She's.
I understand that, but
Yeah, I
then,
don't trust
I
her.
mean, the state cannot, they're prohibited from
Oh, I
giving
know,
you
I
any.
know, Woodland Regional.
I know that Woodland Regional has worked with several towns.
Yeah.
Well, like Vermont,
I would trust that.
with wastewater, so they have names too.
Yeah. I just have a kind of weird question. The money and the study is only for the village, it's not for the greater communities. We're only worried about the water contamination here in the village.
In the
is that
village.
right?
That's where the concentration is. Of houses and usage. Like, I mean, I live out.
I know.
On 300 acres, I mean, there's no concern about that. I mean, I guess if something happened to maybe my own well, I don't know what would happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's for the
That's
village.
the contamination among all
Yeah.
the homes.
But I believe the septic ordinance we have now, it does cover Cambridgeport area.
Yeah.
Holtonville area, village.
So anywhere where there's a concentration of.
So yeah, we could open it up to those.
So there's no the septic ordinance about pumping once every 4 years is not beyond the village?
It's the village of Hiltonville and
Oh.
Cambridgeport.
Yeah, it's the highly concentrated areas.
Right.
that-
But we could add the water.
Yeah.
If people want their water tested, a lot of people don't want it tested, they don't want anything to do with anything. Yeah. It fails to clear.
But you're talking about septic testing, not necessarily water
No,
testing,
not
that was
yet.
provided by the state.
But you
so-
mentioned water, we could ask them if they wanted the water tested. In those villages, yeah, because they're close to the river. Makes sense.
I know you don't wanna talk about it in detail, but Suzanne did submit a 3-page letter to the select board and planning commission today. And just asked that it be included in the minutes, so we can add it as an attachment, and I can provide copies before that. It's fine.
Fine with me.
That's fine, yeah. Okay, somebody make a motion to accept this $200,000
I
grant.
don't think I will make that. Accept that. So,
There is a second?
I'll second that.
So that would be to, there's only one signature spot for it, so we can authorize somebody. It comes in a DocuSign, so it's pretty quick and easy.
Well, authorize you, Morgan, because you,
I'll make a motion to authorize Morgan as the signature for this document,
any other
or the article.
discussion?
Right.
If not, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. You,
Will the 3-page letter by Suzanne Welch be available to the public to read?
Yes,
Ruby.
I can give you a copy tonight, or I can email it to you. Whatever.
Morgan, you're gonna give the July flood update, or is there nothing to talk about?
Well, I can, dove pretty deep into the financials, just to make sense of it all and make sure that we were kind of running in line with all of our records. So we have spent a total so far of $837,000. And that includes the work on federal highways as well as all of the other FEMA work. That does not include the expenses associated with the Bell Road culvert, the Eastman Road retaining wall, or all of the administrative work that has been done. And those, well, Bell Road and Eastman Road are gonna be 2 very large projects. So I don't have an estimate written down right now, but I know that Bell Road will be $216,000. Because that was a bid project FEMA already reimbursed that amount, so that plus the reimbursement that we've gotten for all of the state highways and a few small FEMA projects. We've received a total reimbursement as of Thursday last week of $579,000. Which that also does include the Bell Road culvert, which we have not spent yet, so. It's kind of a lot of numbers to throw at you, but just to give you a rough idea.
So how much they still owe us?
Yeah. Well,
I think Eastman and the Eastern classroom.
yeah, that will be pretty big as well. So, okay, total spent, including Bell Road, because that's already a locked-in price. We've spent $1,054,000 minus what we've gotten back. So they still owe approximately $475,000. Plus Eastman Road and administrative.
Does that include administrative costs and Eastman? The $475?
It does not.
No. Do you have any estimates on Eastman or administration costs?
Eastman, we've had several numbers thrown around, it's probably gonna be at about 500,000. Yeah, plus engineering to go with that, so. We're talking about a big chunk of change. All of that said, we met with FEMA this past week, and I have another follow-up with them next week. Typically, the FEMA cost share is 75%. But there's been talk about increasing that, so it's looking like they are going to increase that to 90%. The state will kick in some, So we're probably looking at a town share of 5%.
That's good.
Yeah, that's not locked in yet,
No, that's
but
good.
there's some progress.
And will take some time.
That will take some time.
It's okay. If it happens, it's fabulous for us.
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay. Walker Bridge update, documents we need to sign tonight.
Yes,
Morgan, tell you why.
we have. Okay, this resolution certificate, I sent you all a copy, so hopefully you have a chance to read that over. Essentially, this is saying that the project is necessary, there's not sufficient funds to pay for the project. And that the question of borrowing funds should be put to the voters. By signing or by approving this, it also adopts the warning and the ballot to be used at the special meeting on November 5th. So if we approve it, all I will need is a motion to adopt the resolution certificate. Which included in that will also have you all sign the warning to be posted.
We don't have a choice. We have to fight this. Otherwise, we couldn't take it.
So, what we will be voting on, can you read that?
The article, sure. Shall general obligation bonds or notes in an amount not to exceed $946,525. Subject to reduction by the application of federal and state grants and aid and reserve funds for the purpose of the reconstruction of bridge number B20 on Route 121 East. The estimated cost for such improvements being $946,525.
We have to do this and then at town meeting, this would have to be voted in anyway. By the town to approve the bond.
Also, all of these documents Kim and I have given them language about the project and then the cost. But these documents have been prepared by the bond council.
So we sign this,
Where yes, those lines on the right hand side.
you all started over there. That's it.
Did you sign?
We will, we're giving you first.
Ridiculous. So somebody make that motion that we,
Adopt the resolution certificate for the reconstruction of Bridge B20 on Route 120 bridges.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
any more discussion from anybody? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Happy Labor Day. The next thing is, it's prohibition of firearms and deadly weapons and totally, this is something that I think the state is requiring.
And there's not much to explain here.
No. So we have to adopt the resolution, and do we put a sign up too, I think?
We will, yeah, we have signage, we'll adopt the policy that will go in the town records. And just so everyone knows, this does exclude law enforcement, so.
Yeah.
Sheriff can still attend these.
What about concealed weapons?
I don't know, I think all.
Well, we can't bring anyone firearms,
Can't.
conceal them or not conceal them. is it? So we need a motion to adopt this, resolution.
So moved.
Question? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, Morgan Engineering Services.
Yeah.
For the fire escape.
So, a few months ago, we talked about it, I had gotten a price from the engineering company that did all of the work on the elevator. At the time, though, we didn't really have funding squared away, we didn't know how we were gonna pay for that, but given the Budget Adjustment Act, that $30,000. We thought it would be a good idea to put those funds towards that project. So I prepared the request for proposals. There's a draft there. I did take quite a bit of the language from when it was written for the elevator and just tweaked it to make sure it makes sense for the fire escape. Obviously, the engineering services are not going to cost all of that money, but with the plans from that engineering report, we can then go to construction. And the idea is to use all of those funds for that as well. There is also a historic preservation grant open and applications are due early October. My hope is to apply for this project for that as well. The maximum grant award for that is 20,000. So I don't know if, I mean, it's a grant, I don't know for sure if we're gonna get that, but we can absolutely try. And then, so that's kind of the fire escape, and I know Joe mentioned the building needed to be repainted as well. And then potentially some of that money could be used towards that if we don't use it all for fire escape.
So what do you need from us, anything?
If the request for proposal is acceptable, then we would publish that and get engineering proposals to move forward with that project. There are dates within there, so just quickly, I had proposals would be due mid-October. And we would open them October 21st and then award it at the next November meeting. And I have an optional site visit for October 10th. So it gives about a month for bids to come in for this project.
So do you want a motion for this or?
A motion to approve posting the request for proposals.
Okay. Somebody want to make that motion? Need a second?
Second, did you get any,
No,
engineer? Well, I'm still waiting on my grandson.
okay, I have one engineer in mind, Kim has one as well, I'll post it to the state registry, so it'll get thrown out to a whole bunch of people, but I haven't gotten any estimates on construction.
Steve, you know the metal fabricator that's over in New Hampshire? They did my hood, you remember?
Yeah, it's like McNeil.
McNeil, look up McNeil and see if they'll bid on it, they do metal fabrication.
Okay.
And they're in, I think they're in,
I figure it's Claremont, maybe?
no, it's not Claremont, it's, what's the other town?
Charleston?
Yeah, I think they're in Charlestown, I think.
Okay,
It's McNeil, that's right, McNeil Fabrication, I think. They do a lot of metal fab, I don't know if they do fire escape, but they do a lot of metal work.
They probably do.
okay,
There was that other welding place in Claremont too, that might be something like that too.
okay. It's, to apply for that historic preservation grant, I just need some type of written estimate. So that's kind of why I'm a little crunched in time to get
Right.
cost for construction. Once we get engineering reports, we'll be able to move forward and they can provide more accurate pricing,
Right.
but just something.
But the one we did get is, you cannot use that, it's too old, or
It's too old and he's no longer in business, and it was never, he had just verbally said it, so I don't have.
so he's not in pictures or anything that you can see.
So we have a motion on the floor, so anybody have any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Okay. Other business, any other business?
We have one.
Go ahead.
We're gonna, update the dog ordinance. And I thought it was gonna be on the agenda tonight, but I guess that's not.
What do-
Wolf and the dog.
The dog,
Oh, the dog is. I think you're working on that, aren't you?
I am working on it.
You were waiting for, Peru or somebody?
I was working on it on Thursday, but haven't had time to put it together where it makes sense. So I will continue to work on that and share
To try to put it on the next agenda.
Thank you.
Any other business? Okay, public comment, go ahead.
For those who don't know me, I'm Dave Culver. I am presently the president of the Grafton Improvement Association. If you're not familiar with the GIA, it's been around since 1919, originally formed to help veterans returning from World War I. Our big thing is we own the ball field here in town, we own another 850 acres or so up on top of Kidder Hill. We're a philanthropic organization, our goal is to try to make life better in Grafton. With an emphasis on the military and the veterans. We have a crisis. The wire that we've used for decades is no longer available from the store to the building across the street. And I totally respect the owner of the building across the street. I mean, the flag got ripped down on 4th of July, and that's a beautiful old building. I wouldn't want that cable on my house either. So we have no place to put a flag. We got a banner that we put up to celebrate Veterans on Memorial Day. I know the Wyndham Foundation has used the cable. I imagine the town, there's other people. We don't have a cable anymore, and we don't have a really good solution, but I want to make sure you're aware of it. And I will say one GIA member, which I thought was radical, but I looked at it, it's interesting, suggested putting a couple of telephone poles down by the bridge or something and just putting the cable up. But I'm not saying, hey, you got a problem, it's your job to fix it. I wanted you to know that we at GIA see it as a problem. We'd like a solution. I will be talking to the Wyndham Foundation to see if they have any interest in it. And I just wanted to throw it out there and let you know about it.
How did the flag get ripped off? Is it- A lot of stuff?
They went through.
The flag has since been fixed and ready to go back, and we have permission from the library to hang the flag and the banners that we've done in the past on their second floor balcony, and we really appreciate that, but not just for us, but something across the main drive is just something special for the word. So that's what I got.
Does anybody have any suggestions?
How much damage did it do to the other guy's house?
I don't know, I didn't talk to the owner of the house or anything, you know, he said the next time there's a problem, we're gonna take it down when that cable is gone. I see, I haven't talked to him. And KT is obviously one of the women.
Oh, now she does.
What's that, Frank?
I don't pay attention. Maybe a smaller flag.
Yeah.
She bought them to the-
It should be added that he has offered $1,000 to help offset the cost of an undertaking like that. It would require the town to provide permission in part of Wilson Park and the foundation to get permission on the other side of the road in order to carry this out. I have no idea what the cost would be, but there is $1,000 in the pot so far.
I might be back, I'll talk to the Wyndham Foundation and see where their head's at, because they like things like that.
Oh,
But they do something from the Wyndham Hotel over to Homestead. It's still made to,
try not tall enough, maybe on the Homestead side.
unless they rig up a telephone pole.
There's.
Well, you could, I mean, I guess you could put up, you know, I have a flagpole in my house that my wife ordered, and it telescopes. So you can put it up or you can put it down. And you can put it down to change the flag or whatever you want to do with it. I don't know what they cost, but they're not prohibitively expensive. I think $1,000 would probably cover 2 of them, and you can put on each side. The question is though, where are you gonna put it?
And I don't know who owns.
And I don't know if
We
you
talk
own
about
the
the
land
bridge,
or
for
the land.
example, it's that state bridge, you know, all that stuff might get ugly.
But I mean, it goes pretty high, so I think it could go higher, so I don't think that should be a problem, but.
And another solution is to hang the flag horizontally
In the future.
rather than vertically,
Yeah,
which would keep it much higher than it was.
yeah,
That's not the first time the flag has been torn down
no, I know.
by a logging truck.
But why don't we, you know, now that everybody knows, and Morgan, maybe you can put something on the website or something. Post it, and maybe somebody has some good ideas, or we can talk to the Wyndham Foundation, see what they come up with.
Yeah, and I've already communicated with Morgan, you know, was interested in this meeting, he's encouraged it.
But I agree with you, Dave, it's really nice to see that flag up there for holidays and for the vets and those kind of things, and it really makes the town. Look good.
Yeah, the perfect spot for this.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay, any other public comment?
That's my usual question. Where's the short-term rental?
It's being worked on,
It's
trust me.
been worked on for 2 years.
Yes, and let me explain something, maybe you don't understand, Morgan and has been strictly busy with FEMA. With all these things that come up, and, we have a draft. And we will get it up to the select board in due time. I understand. Everybody wants to see it, but there are some things that have to be ironed out. And, in all fairness to Morgan, I mean, you know. She's a kind of a one-man band, and it's not like she hasn't been doing anything, so we've had a lot of issues, and this whole flood thing and all this other stuff is really taking a lot of time. We'll get there, trust me, we'll get there before the end of the year, I promise you.
And I've given Morgan quite a few suggestions and materials to look at. And I'd like to see that homes get registered first. And you know, there's a lot of stuff that has to be done and do it correctly, so we're not gonna be hit with a lawsuit.
Well,
No said,
it's not forgotten,
not forgotten.
Don, please understand that, it really hasn't. But it's come.
And I thank Morgan for all that she is doing. Still a lot.
I understand that, I mean, but what do you guys do?
Well, when she gets down and gets all the information she has to get back, then we'll have a draft to everybody, and then we'll put it on the meeting. It'll be a long meeting, trust me, I can tell you that, so. There's a lot of things to consider. Morgan, anybody else have any other business? Morgan, you all set?
I think.
Okay, all right, somebody make a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
The next regular meeting here is Monday at 7. That's not on this weekend, is it?
No, it's the weekend before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?